I know who I am. I know who I am. That what look. If that ain't a message, if you don't know who your identity, what your identity is in this, world that's trying to tell you, what I mean, either you figure it out or we'll figure it out for you. You can find your identity in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A lot of times, even sometimes your family tries to give you identity. Oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're this or you're that. Don't listen to anyone's identity except what Christ says you are.
Mm.
Because that is a blessed identity, and that's the only truth. That's the
Yep.
only truth. So yeah, you're listening to Don't Trip here on ARL. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. We have missed you. We are currently live on YouTube. So if you want to join us on our YouTube, just go to Adventist Radio London. Their YouTube, we're live streaming right now. So we'd love for you to join the conversation that way. Of course, there's other ways that you can join the conversation. If you are a steady listener to ARL, then you know that you can text us at 82228, write hope and then your message. That's 82228, write hope and then your message. Or you can hit up our WhatsApp number 0745 964 2898. 0745 964 2898. But of course, the easiest way for me to see your message is to join the conversation on our YouTube live stream here. We've missed you for a couple weeks.
Yes.
Missed you. And I'm sure that means that Ray has collected a lot that has gone on in the past
Look.
few weeks in the world.
Well, well, I have a scenario for you, Am I the not nice person
Uh-oh.
for moving to a hotel because my wife's family insisted I sleep on the couch? Hmm.
I mean, okay, let's hear the story. Cause I mean, honestly,
I mean, I mean,
if you got it, you know what I
look,
mean?
so my wife and I got married last summer. Her family lives across the country from us. Up until this point, I had never actually visited them, but I had met them a handful of times, and we've always gotten on fine. They invited us to come visit, and they stay with them a few days, and we took them up on that offer. We flew in yesterday, and everything went well. Her dad and I watched football while she caught up with her mom and her sister, and then we had a really nice dinner. But things went south at the end of the night when it was made clear that they didn't want me sharing a bed with my wife while in their home, and that they expected me to sleep on the couch.
Mm, mm, mm,
I honestly thought that they were joking at first,
mm.
but they insisted we sleep separately. I had a problem with the implication that I shouldn't be allowed to sleep next to my wife, and I also have a bad back, and the couch did not look the least bit comfortable. They don't have a guest room. He's put in brackets.
Okay.
After arguing back and forth a bit, I decided to leave and book a hotel. I told my wife she didn't have to come with me. She chose to stay, and I said I'd come back the next day. I went off to the Marriott about 10 minutes away and got a good night's sleep.
And
Trying
continental breakfast.
and a continental breakfast. He didn't put that, but the
But you
Marriott
know, you
definitely
know.
has the continental breakfast. Trying to not let the whole situation bother me. This morning, I called my wife and asked when I should come by. She told me her parents want me to apologize for leaving the way I did. I told her I'm willing to apologize. I told her that I'm willing to apologize to keep the peace, but they need to acknowledge that it wasn't appropriate to insist I can't share a bed with my own wife. She said she talked to them and called me back. About 10 minutes later, I hear back from her and she tells me that not only will they not apologize for it, um, they are now insisting I need to come back and stay on the couch for the rest of the visit. And if I don't agree to this, I'm not welcome back in the house. I'm pretty livid. I'm pretty livid at this point. So I told her that there is absolutely no chance that I will do that, and I'm no longer willing to offer any sort of apology.
Mm.
My wife's sister is now bothering me, and this point made me laugh because then I thought she's bothering him while he's comfortable in a
He's
hotel
at
bed.
the
My wife's sister is
while he's
now
yamming down his continental
literally,
chocolate.
literally. He probably
Mom
booked a
said this for
massage. Yeah, yeah. He
today.
probably booked a massage for all the stress they're putting on his shoulders. But my wife's sister is now bothering me, saying this is just the way their parents are. That my wife is very upset, and that I need to just give in and stay on the couch for the rest of the trip before this turns into some sort of family feud. From my perspective, I don't care what they think. I am willing to treat the rest of this trip as a solo vacation. Go sightseeing and meet my wife back at the
Ray,
airport.
did you write this? Because
No, I didn't.
if this is not a
I,
Ray response,
I didn't. But
he
I
said,
am.
"Oh, I guess I'm on holiday."
Yeah. Straight. Because the thing is, yeah, no, and
Yeah,
treat
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and treat this. Go sightseeing and and meet my wife back at the airport at the end of the week. Am I the not nice person?
Mm.
I want your opinion before I give mine because I
I
think
mean,
everybody knows mine.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, I think it's interesting how he's being bothered um to try to keep the peace who is bothering them, the other party, to try to keep the peace and
Mm-hmm.
prevent it from being an ongoing thing. You know what I mean? Is anyone saying, hey, to both sides? Because, you know, if you're willing to tell me to spend my bad back on the sofa,
Look,
you know what I mean, away from my spouse. Like it'd be one thing if you guys weren't married or whatever, what have you, but you know what I mean? Like that's his wife. Um it's interesting that he's being bothered to just give in, almost as though letting him know that I am blaming you if there's a family feud.
yeah, exactly,
It is all
exactly.
your
Yeah.
fault if there's a family feud. Or
Mm-hmm.
that's a big problem that I have. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It'd be one thing if it's like, you know, one sister is trying to talk to the parents, one sister trying to talk to, you know what I mean? But, you know, when siblings are, multiple people from the family are coming to this one person and acting like they're the problem and
yeah,
they're the ones not keeping the peace. I'm like, okay, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Who else is
yeah.
being pushed to compromise here? Um, because honestly, if he already has the hotel, he's already comfortable. Like,
Look.
what incentive does he have?
I might extend it another week and meet you at home. Like,
You know what I mean? Because I'm sure, of course, I'm sure he didn't want it to end up this way. Um, but you know, it's like this is a guest in your home as well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like I come from a culture where you try and make the guest that you bring into your home feel comfortable.
Mm,
Um, and whatnot. So I think the way that I'm cultured and the way that I see it, I'm definitely just like, you know, bro, um, stay in a hotel. Um, keep this an ongoing chat with your wife, but remember that um, this is between you and your wife
yeah.
at the end of the day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And do whatever. I don't think he's a not nice person at all. for finding that as a solution. How it
Mm.
goes from there, like I this is the kind of thing I would want like updates.
Well, I'm
You know
glad
what I
you
mean?
said that
Oh
because there
no.
is an update.
Oh
All right.
no.
So I mean, look, I'm gonna just say my opinion out loud. I think
Yeah,
he's
go ahead.
100% on the right path. I don't think there's anything wrong with how he dealt with this at all. If matter of fact, I think he dealt with it in probably the best way because
There are
I
other
would have
ways.
probably been a lot more petty. I would have started a group chat. I would have started sending
Mm-mm,
pictures while I'm
mm-mm,
sightseeing to the
mm-mm.
group chat and being like, "Oh, your city
No,
is so beautiful." See, and
no.
that's what we're praying for me for. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows that's why we're praying for me
Yeah,
because
we can't have that. We can't have
because
that.
it's
You know what I
not
mean?
right. I know it's not right, but
Because there's a line where it stops being a solution
but
and
the thing
starts
is,
being the problem.
once I get in that headspace,
See,
ain't
no.
no solution there. Like you might have probably thought by my initial actions that I was looking for a solution.
I'm finished.
I was looking for my peace. That's what I was looking for.
Ray, not on the
But
show. What's the update? What's the
but yeah. But anyway, please continue to pray for me. And you know I have gotten better by the way because I just think it. I don't do it. Like that's but
update?
the update is wow. I didn't expect this post to blow up the way that it did. Thanks for all your responses and and awards. I took the advice of one of the posters here to ask my wife and her sister to meet me for dinner apart
Mm,
from the parents. It was interesting to say the least. After we sat down, I leaned into them a bit about what's happened. I asked my wife if she knew her dad was going to demand that we sleep separately, and she said she was surprised, um, but it as well. She was surprised by it as well. Sorry. She'd expect that if I were still just her boyfriend, but now that we're married, she didn't expect it. I then asked them all. I then asked them all if they thought that it was okay for her parents to act this way. They said it wasn't, but they know their parents, and it's best to just let things go. This led to somewhat of an uncomfortable conversation
mhm.
about how controlling he can get, and how he angers easily when he doesn't get his way, and uh, that he was already throwing a fit over me in quotes disrespecting him by leaving. Press pause. Now I gotta I got who in the world like because for me, right, like the conversation, yes, okay, I like the way the conversation is going because I do believe that you both should be able to say, you know, your thoughts
Yeah, open
and things
dialogue.
like that. And of course, that's their parents, so they're gonna try and get me to see them in the way that they see them. You know, and that's the way that the conversation was going. However, this but right here,
Hmm.
but they know their father and
Right.
it's best to just let things go. Like no, because in my in and this is I'm not going to try and speak for all men, right?
Right.
This is my perspective.
Mm,
This is my wife.
mm,
And so and so I'm sorry that
mm,
you're uncomfortable,
mm.
but I didn't disrespect you by leaving. Me
Right.
leaving was a solution because I would have stayed in the bed and that would have been a disrespect.
Mm,
So
mm.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, but
Right.
I respected you by leaving because that's my wife.
Mm.
Because matter of fact, no. Matter of fact, cool. So if we're gonna sleep separate to our wives, your wife can share a bed with my wife, and I'll share a bed with you.
Mm.
There we go. That's the solution. Since you don't care about what marriage is. Yeah? Like since you don't care that we are one and you want to split the one. How about me and you be point 0.5 together in the bed?
Right.
How about that?
Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath.
Just let things like go. Let him get in between my
Right.
me and my wife. No, are you mad?
The thing
I,
is, right?
I,
I was gonna like if you didn't bring it up, I'd have been like, I'm interested in your opinion as a man because this felt like that
yeah.
sort of thing, where of course I have my perspective, but
Mm,
it's definitely when there is a man asserting his will. You know what I mean? How does that affect you as the party on the outside? A lot of times in situations like this, um when they're used to a certain dynamic, they actually do need someone on the outside. Not necessarily objective. There's no way you're gonna be objective when you know what I mean you are a part of the family somehow.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but an outside party to shed light on the dynamic that's happening and the fact that it doesn't need to happen. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Of course, you want to know, okay, how deep does this go? Like, what is he gonna do with his temper that you guys are so afraid of? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
'cause,
Exactly.
you don't want to leave and then some physical altercation or something goes on. But a lot of times, it's not even that. It's
Mm,
just they're used to this being the thing. You know what I
exactly.
mean? They're like, okay, it's best if you just so I do think it's interesting that they're like, no, actually we support your side. Um but regardless of your comfort, regardless of what we believe is right, um we should just let him get his way. Because of course that's the solution for spoiled people. Let them get
Yeah.
their way,
Yeah.
right?
And oh no, go
But
ahead.
my last point was, if they are newlyweds, he is now establishing his place in the dynamic of this family. So this
Exactly.
is actually an important decision,
Yeah.
in establishing what your priority is. Of course, his priority is his wife. I love the fact that he opened up the conversation to them. I love the fact that
Mm,
he had lunch or dinner with them, probably at the Marriott. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Come see. Matter of fact, let me take you on a tour of my room.
You know what I mean? And then I love the fact that this conversation happening, but yeah, at the same time that you had your reaction, I had my internal reaction. Like, wait a minute,
Mm,
we're establishing a dynamic here.
yeah.
And if I don't want to have to face what you guys obviously have been facing for a
Yeah.
long period of time, I'm going to have to stand up, because what him standing up and what him changing the dynamic does is help to change the dynamic for his wife as well. Because
Mm,
at times that she feels too weak or she feels like caving, because that's the dynamic they have,
mm-hmm.
he as the spouse, as the other half, is now able to stand up and go, you know what, I am actually strong enough to have this conversation
Yeah.
and to challenge the dynamic that's at play,
Exactly.
because obviously this ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah.
This may work for y'all. Y'all may have found a way to be comfortable with this, but I know every single time I meet something like this is gonna be a problem. So let's face this head on, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
let him know. You know what I mean? You're not talking to someone who has caved to you before. You're talking to
Yeah.
another man, and this is my stance.
Yeah.
I have Dawn here. She says, "Hey y'all, hope you've been good. Oh, looks like I walked into a hot topic. Listening to catch the story. Yes." in in short, and I had a feeling this was going when you brought the headline as well. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, am I a not nice person for booking a hotel instead of sleeping on the couch? Basically, newlyweds went to go visit the wife's family for the first time at their family home, and the parents said that the husband needs to sleep on the couch. He cannot sleep in the room with his wife. He didn't like that. He wasn't taking it. He decided, I have a bad back. I'm actually going to book the Marriott and I'll sleep there and I'll return tomorrow to continue the visit. Um, and of course, the women in the family, aka his wife, her sister, um, is saying, "Oh, just cave to the dad. He has a really bad temper, and if he doesn't get his way, he kicks up a fuss." So to keep keep things cordial, just come, and the family's demanding that he stays on the couch the duration of the stay. He's not for it, and yeah, the update is that what he stayed at the hotel the rest of the visit.
So yes. So he stayed at the hotel for the rest of the visit.
Mm.
Um uh
Do you know if he returned to the
but
home or if he just stayed there?
so they've um they've actually left the and actually booked a separate vacation. So it says, I know my wife was mainly here to spend time with her sister, who she rarely gets to see. So I told them all that I was going to move to a hotel by the beach in
Mm,
San Diego for the rest of the week, and I'd book a second room for them to join. So only the sister came, and they
mm,
had a great time in San Diego um, without the parents. So not now for me, it's like, and you really touched on the dynamic of being newlyweds and being and setting the
the tone, yeah.
setting the tone for the rest of your life, right? Because what would happen is if I give in now,
Right,
then that means that I'm gonna have to give in all the time. And what if, like now this has to do with me, but what if the next time I'm forced to give in, it hurts my wife?
right,
Then what do I do? Because then I'll have a real fire
right.
within me. Because now he's dealing with it good, like well,
Mm,
but you hurt my wife, I'll have a different kind of fire.
right. Oh,
And
okay, Will.
and that like and that's and yeah, 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 yeah. Keep her name. No, I'm
No, no,
kidding.
no,
I'm
no, no,
kidding.
no, 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 no,
But
no, no.
but no, but that's what it is. And number one, I had a thought that this is why fathers need to mature with their daughters.
Mm,
You have to mature while your daughter matures.
mm.
So my daughter, she's 18 now, and it hurt when she told me she was interested in a boy, and it hurt when
It
I
hurts.
found out that they were cause look at the end of the day, you want your daughter to stay your princess forever, right? But but you have to mature with them.
Mm,
And so your journey of maturity will look different. What will happen is they'll reach certain milestones, and you'll have to deal with your internal self
yeah,
in order to mature with them. But you have to, because once they're married, they
yeah,
are one. So and they were in a relationship before they were married. Yeah, you only met them like face to face a few times, but you've talked
right.
to them throughout the years and all this stuff.
Mhm.
So you have to mature with them in order for you not to be hung up on the fact that he's spending the night with his wife.
Right. And Dawn's here, she says, Lord, what type of family he married into. And that's it. But I like that there's a layer that you kind of alluded to just there. And of course we can move this from this story after this.
Hmm.
But the underlying layer of male dynamics, right? Um, where a lot of times the males will challenge each other, and whether it's something that's done intentionally or something that's done um unintentionally, there's always this layer of
That
who
is,
is the
yeah,
man that leads her life,
yeah.
right? And of course they're newlyweds, so the father is brand new to the idea of someone else having this sort of dominance
Mm,
against him. He hasn't been challenged in this way when it comes to her yet. You know
mm.
what I mean? And so whether intentionally or unintentionally, there has to be some sort of at least begrudging respect to a man that is able to stand up and go, no, I'm actually setting the standard for my family going
Yeah, yeah,
forward.
yeah. And
You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure after the fact, the father would think about it, and it will probably bring him some kind of comfort inside to know that, he stood up for his beliefs and he did it in the right way. And, even though they didn't work out to where they spent the whole time together, he
Right.
still was like, this is my wife. Because at the end of the day, you just want you want your daughter to be with someone who you know is going to protect them, right? And
Right.
so it will give him some comfort after the fact.
Right.
But
Whether or
but
not he is able to give up his pride enough
yeah,
is a
and
whole different story. But there has to at least, you know what I mean?
because
If
it sounds
if
like
he
he's been
stands by,
enabled this
yeah,
whole time.
if he stands by his word and never lets him in the house again, at least he can never let him in the house again, knowing that his daughter is taken care of.
Yes, exactly. No, or knowing that he'll be in the Marriott 10 minutes down the road.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that
Yeah.
this to me it has a bit of hope still because this is the first time this is happening. This is the first time this
Yeah. Yeah.
dynamic's
Yeah.
been challenged.
Exactly.
At least when it comes to her, I don't know if the sister is married or anything like that. But it's like okay, I'm establishing a dynamic. I've made my play. I've put my foot down. I've made sure that you know that the priority is that my wife has the visit that she wanted to have. She has the
Mm,
fun that she wanted to have,
yeah.
and I made a way for that to happen. Next play, because honestly, I don't think that this is the sort of thing, and of course, this is just me speaking. I always say this. I don't think this is the kind of thing that should split up a family.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean? But if we read a year later and we realize, wait a minute, I know who this poster is. And he's like, to this day, I still haven't been back. They still haven't let me in the house unless I stay on that sofa.
The update would be we planned a family gathering at ours this year,
No,
and
no, no.
I
I was
booked him a
invited.
hotel.
He invited us again, but still required me to stay on the sofa. The sofa remains empty. 15 years later. Because at this point, now you bring in the sofa. What does sofa do to anybody? Now it's the problem in the
Look,
feud.
look, as a
Um,
person with a bad back, yeah.
yeah.
As
And
a
it
person,
could mess up
I'm
your
not sleeping.
whole
I'm not sleeping on your
visit.
sofa bed. If
Could
I could
mess up
if I
your
could
whole
book my
visit.
hotel room, I'm not sleeping on your sofa bed, and you're just gonna have to understand, like,
Yeah, yeah,
cause
yeah, yeah. Okay, we have Anne Samuel here. She says assertion of boundaries and respect is so important. Also, observing family values, as this was a well cemented behavior that was
mm,
waiting for an opportunity to show itself.
yes,
Observing family values exactly. So, observing these dynamics and knowing whether or like where you want to place yourself in this
mm,
dynamic,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm new to this. Some people will take the background side and go, okay, I'm new to this. I'm not sure what to do. Let's kind of play it how they play it and see what happens. I like the fact that immediately he acted on his instinct, and his instinct
yeah,
was rational. His instinct was to have the conversation, to realize that you know what I mean? That he wasn't getting through, to find a solution, to have another conversation while in that solution,
mm,
to come to another solution with the people that mattered most to him, and whatnot. Because to me, you know what I mean? So I love that you said observe it, yes. But don't just yield to something that you automatically know is toxic. You don't have to. You're a grown up. You're establishing
yeah,
things. And the last
exactly.
message here says that sofa would have stayed empty until renewed.
Yes,
And you may as well
yes.
leave the plastic on the next sofa.
Mm-hmm.
Look.
Look,
100%, man. Boundaries are so important. Boundaries and communication are the two things that he's doing that
yeah,
give me hope that there's at least a positive future for he and his wife.
yeah,
Um, and
exactly.
you know what I mean? Whether or not it happens with her family, you know, I mean, it has there's two sides to this, but at least it gives me a hope in that. Boundaries are important, man, especially when you're first starting the rest of your life with someone.
Mm.
Yeah. I got a song called "I Can Do This." You mind if I play a little music? We move on to the next story.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I Can Do This. Follow J. Will and Laws. On the other end, we have more. You're listening to Don't Trip.
On DAB, mobile apps, and online. This is Adventist Radio London.
I'm just gonna close the door. I think they were having a meeting, and it just got
Ah,
loud.
okay. But yes, continue to pray for me and my petty thoughts. Um, you know, they're just thoughts now, which I'm very grateful for. But let's do away with all of them. With all of it. But thank you for joining the conversation. I keep looking down because I have the live chat on my phone. But yeah, thank you for joining the conversation. Um, and continue.
Hey, this is my first time seeing the design. I didn't know he printed them out.
Oh, print it out.
Yeah. So I make the posters and whatnot.
Mm.
Ooh, I don't know if you can see it. Oh well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, it actually looks good on paper.
Yeah, it does for real. Is it on the website?
I don't know where he posts them.
Yeah.
He just has me make them and I send them to him. So he probably does put it like on the Facebook. I don't know if it's on the website actually. If it was on the website, I would put it up because I don't think that.
Oh yeah, true.
But he probably uses it on socials. Probably sends to other people to use it on socials. These are the new shows that we have that are airing now. I do need to adjust the website as well. There's so much that needs to happen. I was down with back problems this week. I ended up in
for real.
In A&E. All from Tuesday. I must have got there about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening. I didn't get home till noon the next day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they forgot me, so they took my bloods and everything. And then I'm sitting there. They said the wait to see a doctor is going to be 6 hours. So I sat there. 1 o'clock in the morning went by. 3 o'clock in the morning went by. So around 4:30, I went up. There are some other people that got there around the same time as me. So I was like, okay, I'll wait. But then they started getting seen. I wasn't called, and they say they'll call you up in order of urgency. So I was waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, you know what? Let me go and check, because I'm seeing people start to be seen. Yeah. Turns out they lost me in the system.
Oh wow.
Now, mind you, I'm tagged. They've taken my vitals a couple times. Whenever it's a long wait, they always send someone around to like take blood pressure around every few hours, just to make you feel seen. It's really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that has happened. They've taken blood tests, everything, and I'm waiting to be called to be seen by a doctor. I go up. She's, what's your name? Give her my name. Scroll. What was your name? Scroll. Huh. Okay, give me just a moment. And I'm watching the computer she's scrolling on and seeing it like I'm not on the list to be seen. So she disappears to the back magically. She's like, oh yeah, you're next. Oh, am I next? She's like, yeah. And so they took a couple samples. Then when the doctor came in, he was like, okay, so what are you here for? Man, I wanted to box the man. I was, because it's back problems. So I'm sitting there in this seat, like in pain for like 10 hours. And then the doctor's like, I was like, yeah, I've been here since 5 yesterday. He's like, yeah, they lost you. So yeah, tell me where the pain is. I had all the scans done and everything within the span of like 2 hours. I got everything seen that I needed to be seen. Um,
So then, even if they would have called you at 1 in the morning, you would have been out by three and home.
I
Jeez.
got home at like 11:30 the next day. By the time they were done with me, um, still not knowing what was wrong with my back. But they
Mm.
found other issues. I was like, oh, this is great. You know what I mean? Got other scans done. Oh, okay, that's nice.
It's not,
Yeah,
not other
yeah, yeah.
issues.
Yeah, other they found other issues. I was like, okay, cool, because I was going to ask my GP about that. Yeah, that's nice. So my back, you know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, for that you probably need an MRI. We don't really do that in emergency. But take
Wow.
painkillers. But take painkillers. So now I have to try and get that done. I have a feeling about what it is. I think it's an old injury just playing up.
Mm.
But I would need to know the source of inflammation or whatever. But I was just like, look, this is why I don't like the hospital out here. There's always incompetence at play. Y'all go through too much school for this level of incompetence.
Yeah.
Talking about, where is she? Scroll, scroll, scroll. And she tried to play it off. The doctor came in right away and said, yeah, they forgot you.
That's the worst bit when they try to
Bruh,
when they try to play it off.
yes. Like, I am a smart person. I know y'all forgot me. Rude.
So rude.
So
Huh.
rude. He's able. That was able by Kurt Franklin. And you're listening to Don't Trip with Ray and Angie here on ARL. And there's a lot going on in the world, Ray. What else you got for us?
Okay, so now I'm gonna hit you with some positive news
All
after
right.
all the drama. Now, I want to start with this because everybody knows that AI is a questionable thing. However,
Mm-hmm.
um, headline reads: AI offering hope offered hope for catching pancreatic cancer early. Most diagnoses for pancreatic cancer um, currently come too late for treatment to be effective, but AI could be about to change that. In a study, an AI model helped radiologists to detect signs of the disease up to 3 years before clinical diagnosis, a development that could save many, many lives.
Oh,
And the reason why I wanted to shout this out is because pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest cancers. More than 85% of patients receive a diagnosis after the disease has spread, and 5 years and 5 year survival rates are below 15%,
yeah.
according to the National Cancer Institution in America. So that is a huge thing. And as I said, AI is being used for everything across the spectrum, but we are finally seeing it used for good.
Mm,
And I really I'm really excited to see what AI can improve in the medical field altogether.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that should be a lot faster, and we should be catching it a lot faster with all the technology we have.
Yeah.
And maybe AI was the piece that is missing to apply the technology the way it's supposed to be applied. So
3 years earlier. Imagine.
three
Wow.
years.
Wow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that sounds lucrative, but I want, I hope they don't make it too expensive for these hospitals to get them because my goodness.
Mm,
Usually, as you said, usually people get diagnosed with that, and you get like 90 days, if that. You get a few months, if that.
yeah.
Um, along with the diagnosis. I have Sharon Davis here. Hi, Ray and Angie with a wave. Have Dawn, Angie. So sorry to hear your experience. Oh, this was about the I talked about back problems here on YouTube during the music break. Yeah, talking about hospital waiting times. My goodness, it's an infrastructure problem. Yeah, I
Look,
mean, I've been talking about it ever since. Sharon Davis, yes, hands up, needs to be better, 100%, man. And I'm so glad to hear that, because if they can detect something like pancreatic cancer, who knows what other things that they can
maybe they
detect.
can detect what's wrong with your back. Maybe,
That's what maybe
maybe,
that's the missing piece in
maybe that's
that
the missing
hospital.
piece.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say where the which hospital the incompetence was at, but if you live and you wear near Ilford,
Don't do it.
you know what I mean?
Don't do
You know what I mean? Anywhere near like King George Hospital or anywhere in that area, um,
it.
and you know you might have had an experience similar at a hospital near King George's Hospital in Ilford.
Mm.
All right, right.
And I have two, I have two quick ones
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
I want to do. So another one is, the headline reads, another U.S. state mandates paid medical leave, which is huge in America because they don't really like you being off work. In in a win for workers' rights, employees in the U.S. State of Virginia will soon be entitled to 12 weeks paid leave if they give birth. Um, if they give birth, need long-term health care, or are caring for a poorly family member. While federal law obliges companies with 50 or more workers to allow 12 weeks medical leave, it doesn't require workers to be paid.
Hmm.
So Virginia is the 15th state to mandate paid medical leave. And family leave after a bill was signed on Monday. Um, so yes, this is a huge thing. The program is due to be running up to 2028, and then they'll review it.
Right.
But it's amazing. So
And seeing that they value you caring for someone,
mm-hmm,
um
exactly.
as much as, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that takes as much as you being sick, as far as you needing to be there. Sometimes the demand is high and you have
Mm,
to take the time off, but you know, they try and skirt the system by saying, "Oh, you're not the one that's sick, so you got to so I got to what?" You know what I mean?
yeah,
We
exactly.
shouldn't put our people, if you consider your residents people that are valuable, you shouldn't put them in a position to be, I was gonna say, to be poor or to be made poor because
Mm,
of something that, you know, I mean, the infrastructure could support. So I love that. 15th state, let's make it 50.
yep, exactly. Exactly. The next one is France has introduced €1 meals for university students. And I wanted to
Woo!
shout hallelujah because I remember the random combinations of food that I was putting together when I was in uni. And to know,
Ketchup and crackers.
look, look, look. I had a skillet and I would make whatever food I could afford at that time on the skillet. Um
You were posh. You had a skillet.
Huh? Look, that's why I didn't have food. All the money went to the skillet. That was the problem. Like I was like, oh yeah, surely I'll get more money and I could use it. Nope, it didn't really happen that way. But the article reads, university canteens across France have introduced three-course meals for €1 to address the financial hardship amongst students. The meal deal follows research showing that 48% of French students have gone without food for financial reasons, according to the local media. The £1 scheme, the €1 scheme was previously only available to students receiving financial aid, but has now been made universal. The French government promised 120 million euros to back the program. In quotes, it is a small internal revolution. French education minister Philippe Batiste told the French news channel out there. So huge. I hope that spreads as well across the world
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, uni's hard as it is. Yes.
It's like they want you to have the
Like,
full suffering experience. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
They go out of their way to make sure that they humble you
Look,
when you get to uni.
look.
Yeah,
So that's great. Let's see. Oh, and just with the last 2 minutes, just with
yeah,
this
yeah.
last one. Um, Gazan sisters win award for construction innovation. Their homes were the article reads their homes were bombed and they lived in tents, but despite enduring acute hardship, hardship and fear of further bombings, two Gazan sisters have won an award for an innovation that could help Palestinians rebuild their communities.
Mm,
Amid devastating airstrikes on their homeland by them who should not be named, the sisters developed a technique to transform rubble from damaging to transform rubble from damaged buildings into reusable non-load bearing blocks for applications such as garden beds, pavements, and partitions.
mm,
Um, and the process involves crushing and sieving the debris, mixing it with binders such as clay, ash, glass powder, etc., to mold into these blocks. So
mm,
then they can make the structure of the town again and build around the structure.
mm,
And to be honest, I believe that this is amazing not only for the Palestinians, I because there's a lot of waste that happens in the Western Front in regards to tearing down buildings and things like that, where
mhm.
we can reuse that stuff. To even if it's just a pavement to repave roads and fill potholes. Hold on. No, no. I feel like I've been too emotional with it today. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah, I feel like that went from like a 5
yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
a 15 in the
Yeah,
span
sorry.
of 2
Sorry,
seconds.
sorry, sorry, sorry. I apologize. I
I
apologize.
was like, "Wait a minute, Ray, you're not even driving over the potholes. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
what is this
yeah, yeah.
rage?"
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
Yeah, no, 100%. I have Sharon Davis
But
here.
yeah.
Would be good here in the UK. It was talking about the 12 weeks paid leave for it, both maternity. I think we have longer maternity leave here, but it stops at that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Sickness leave and carer leave. 12 weeks paid requirement. She was saying good, it would be good to have that here in the UK
Yeah.
as well.
100%.
Um and then when you're talking about France having the £1 or the €1 meals for students, she says Britain should take the hint.
Mm-hmm.
Students need all the support. Yes,
Yes. I have
you know
I
what
have
I
a
mean.
cousin I have cousins who are in uni and my daughter's about to go to uni and
I'm like, you're teaching them all kind of life lessons. Let's not make poverty be one of them.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like please no.
right. Then we have Sharon Davis here, saying, "Oh, that was Ann Samuel that said that." We have Sharon Davis here. This is pressure that brings about creativity and innovation. Exactly, talking about the women who were able to
Mm-hmm.
reuse the rubble. Yes,
Yeah.
fill them potholes too.
Yes. I mean, yes, yes, we should get
She
them
says,
filled.
"Well done, well done to those sisters." No, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we are pushed to become the most creative, to become the most resourceful
Mm-hmm.
under pressure. And a lot of the things that we
Yeah.
talk about that are problems here, and oh man, we have a lot of waste there, this and that, is because we haven't had the pressure that they've
Mm-hmm.
been under. We've been very privileged, and it's made us lazy and uncreative and unresourceful and
Yeah.
waiting for other people to solve problems. What are you saying, Ray?
However, I do want to make a point because I've seen some crazy things said in this world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to let people know
Mm-hmm.
if like If you support the other side, you cannot say the ends justify the means. Because I have heard people say that about some atrocious things that's happened in our history. And I have heard people try to make oppressed people feel grateful for the oppression because of all of the innovation and thing that happened.
Mm,
No, that's not how it goes. You're
yeah.
still not right. You're still not justified. It's just they made diamonds out of the coal that you were serving them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
Hundred
yeah,
percent.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I had to
Like,
because I saw this. I saw this. I'm
yeah.
not
Oh, it's great that they did that. If we didn't, bully them, then they wouldn't have come out. You know what I mean? No, because the trauma also came with
exactly,
that. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
yay, yay, they came up with one thing, but you know what I mean. Lastly, we have Dawn here. Yes, carer leave needs to be increased. It's only 6 days a year at the
Hmm.
hospital I work for. 6 days. By
Yeah,
then, you ain't even. What have you even been able to do to care in 6 days? You know
literally,
what I mean? In six
literally.
days, you don't even have time because caring for a person also requires things like cleaning the house. It also
Hmm.
requires things like, gathering energy. It also requires you, right? Because if you're not able to rest, you're not able to provide adequate care. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to cram all of your care into six days paid, my goodness. All right, so we do need to move forward. But now you done got me in Ray's rage. I have a song called Love Has a Name by KJ Shriven. And then we're going to be on the other end in our plan. Man, it feels good to resume this plan. It feels like we've been gone for ages.
Mm.
Paying ridiculous attention to Jesus. Paying ridiculous attention to Jesus. Those who are familiar with the show knows that we use the YouVersion Bible app. So if that's the Bible app that you use on your phone, then open it up, hit plans, and go to paying ridiculous attention to Jesus. If you don't use that app, but you still want to join in the plan, just open up your browser and go to Bible.com. It's the same people who put that on. Bible.com, hit plans, go paying ridiculous attention to Jesus is by the Jesus Centered Life. That's who puts on this plan. And we're actually on day 3 of the plan, paying ridiculous attention to Jesus. I love the dialogue that it opens up, and it's usually a very simple devotional that opens up a lot of dialogue about the one that we follow and whose name we bear. So during the music break, have time open that up. If you're going to be following along in the Bible, open your Bible up to Matthew chapter 5. And we will be with you in a bit. You're listening to Don't Trip.
On DAB, mobile apps, and online. This is Adventist Radio London.
Goodness. I was just thinking about my journey here. So Central Line usually doesn't have very many disruptions, but when it does, it really does disrupt your whole life. Um, so Central Line, from Leytonstone all the way to Marble Arch has been closed all weekend.
Oh wow.
And so I've been navigating that only to get on the train from Euston, the Great Western Railway. And then as it exits the station and then stops. So you can't get off. And then they say, oh, there's delays. There was a trespasser on the tracks at Wembley. I'm like, we're not even stopping at Wembley. Like, take a different track. Here's me trying to tell them what to do. Take a different track. I got things to do. I got places to go. You know what I mean? Yeah, and ended up being a 45-minute delay.
Goodness.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about getting back home.
Mm.
This is a lot. What's the app, please? It's the Bible app. So it's when you hit Bible in your app store, it's the first one that comes up. It's by YouVersion, like YOU version. But it's the most popular Bible app. If you can't find that, then literally Bible.com. This is how popular it is. These people got Bible.com.
Yeah, for real.
Hit plans, yeah. Paying ridiculous attention to Jesus. And we're gonna be on day 3 of 7. Yes. my
Oh, and,
energy.
and Samuel, thank you very much for the support. Um, sometimes you just gotta say things before you can envision people saying silly things,
Right.
and you have to just nip it in the bud
To
before it
quiet their
even
own
comes out
conscience
their
about the
mouth.
stance
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
take. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
It's they're trying so hard to shy away from their cognitive dissonance because they know that the thing that they're supporting is causing harm.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
if they see a sliver of, silver lining, then they're going, oh yeah, then it's good that I supported this thing. Nah, didn't make anything good.
Yeah, yeah, you're still on the
I mean,
you're
cause
still
the
on the
pain.
wrong side of history. Like
You are my soul. Enjoy his name. Joy is the name. And his name is. Yes, it is. And his name is Jesus. Peace has a name. Peace has a name. And his name is Jesus. Oh, his name is Jesus. Oh, his name is Jesus. Oh, and his name is Jesus. Oh, you're everything we need. Oh, Jesus. Oh, your name is Jesus. Love has a name.
Okay, you know the song was over. Why you come back?
Love has a
You know
name.
what? You just can't let it go. He was in the booth, but
And his name is
the editor was feeling it too, so they left it in.
mm-hmm.
And his name is Jesus.
Hey, this is Angie.
And this is Ray,
You're listening to Don't Trip.
bringing light to your day.
That's right, bringing light to your day. You're listening to Don't Trip with Ray and Angie here, and we are moving into our Bible study hour. Hopefully, I've given you some time to find the app. If you haven't found the app, just open up your browser, hit Bible.com, plans, and paying ridiculous attention to Jesus from the Jesus Centered Life. By the way, Jesus Centered Life does other plans as well. So follow their plans. They always come with something like their devotionals are so simple, but open up great dialogue. And I love that it's always Jesus centered. So we're on day 3. And okay, should have cleared my throat before we came on this thing. All right, so I'm sitting here just like, why am I struggling? I was just fine a moment ago. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna read the devotional first, and we are in day 3. Paying ridiculous attention to Jesus, it reads, Jesus said, we know we are starting to make an impact when people started insulting, persecuting, and defaming us because of him. He even says that we should be happy about it. Ever think that sometimes Jesus has a way different ideas about what leads to happiness? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that thought before. Like, I feel like you and I need to define what happiness is, because we may not be talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes.
says we should be happy about it. Jesus is simply not intimidated by confrontation and conflict.
Mm-hmm.
He is not moved or motivated by unfair critique or misplaced abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. It's impossible to force Jesus to capitulate on the truth. He cannot be pressured into compromising his integrity.
Mm-hmm.
The audacity of people to try. This kind of
Look.
reminds me a little bit of the dynamics we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Consider what this says about Jesus' character. He cannot be swayed. Unlike other leaders or celebrities or quote unquote saviors, he doesn't flip flop or back down.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone we can trust, someone we can follow into a storm. Spend a minute or two acknowledging these unique and rare qualities about Jesus and thank Him for His uncompromising nature. Ask the Holy Spirit to increase these qualities in you today.
Hmm.
As I said, simple but powerful.
Oh
What
yeah.
stuck out for you, Ray?
For me, it's the he's not willing to compromise his integrity.
Mm,
And for the reason it sticks out is because nowadays people have found very, very, very creative ways to compromise, to force you to compromise your integrity.
mm,
Whether or not they use certain language that makes them, makes it seem like they have the moral high ground on something, and anyone who disagrees with them is subject to blah blah blah. The Sadducees did that to Jesus as well, and we all know that they did not have the moral high ground. So we know that language is dangerous,
right.
right? And so in this day and age where that is all around us,
Yeah.
it's powerful to say you can sit in in the truth
Mm-hmm.
and look around and keep your integrity and not be swayed and not feel the social pressure that is surrounded by that type of language, and
Right.
and still feel confident enough to say I'm sorry.
Mm,
You can view me as wrong all you want,
mm,
but I got Jesus on my side and
right.
I shall not be moved.
Right.
That's a powerful position to be in. And for me,
Right.
like it's I don't know. I don't know whether or not I just feel the weight of people trying to sway you back and forth.
Mm.
But it spoke to me in a way.
Oh, absolutely. And it's only going to increase. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you saw that a lot of app developers and whatnot, gambling is very popular, especially among the uber wealthy. And
Mm,
they don't
yeah.
gamble on things that people gamble on, the typical people gamble on. Like they would, like the outcome of a game or something like that. But they gamble on social things.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of
Yeah.
create a game out of, hey, look, let's create this dichotomous scenario and see where the people will land. I bet more people are gonna be thinking this, and more people are, and so now they're using profiles and analytics.
Mm-hmm.
When you click the cookies and the vendors, they're some of the vendors. You know what I mean? They're collecting this information to be able to track um, social views on things,
Mm-hmm.
and they're creating dichotomy. They're creating polarization.
Yeah.
They want you to feel really strong about this stance, regardless of nuance or anything like that, so that they can collect that data. People are making money off of this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so seeing that, it lets me know that as much as we feel like, oh, they're pressuring us to think this, it's going to increase.
Mm,
They want you to think in a polarized way on every single topic, so that they can
exactly.
manipulate you, so they can advertise to you, and so they can profit off of you, right?
Yeah.
And so being like Jesus, separating yourself from all of the things they're telling you to think and being moved by the Holy Spirit instead
Mm,
as your moral code, as your moral guide, is only going to become more important.
yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what Jesus said, and that's what gave him the sense of authority and the confidence to be able to do that, knowing that my source of information, knowing that my source of moral code, knowing that my source of wisdom is not of this world,
Mm,
is
yeah.
wiser than anyone who lives on this world, is wiser than the algorithm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I was gonna bring up the algorithm as well,
Yeah,
because for me it's this time, like we have to be aware of what they are trying to do to us, and that awareness will allow it not to matter, right?
right.
So for me, like I have a compartmentalization. I don't even know if that's a word,
Yeah.
but I have that when it comes to social media. So I literally don't care about anything social media says, right? Um we need to be that way. And the reason I do that is because anything that I can see that people you can use to persuade you and turn you this way, especially when they bought the algorithms,
Mm,
right? So I still have social media. But
mm,
if you were to send me something and want me to believe it, like I'm not gonna blindly believe it because it's
right.
social media. Like that's just
Right.
how I am, right? And so I would need to go out and find sources and things like that. And that's what we need to be like,
Mm,
because there are so many, like even gambling, they're using it to desensitize us,
mm,
that and to also dehumanize situations, circumstances. So when you start to gamble in regards to social situations, that
mm,
means you're gambling in regards to wars. That means you're gambling in
right.
regards to all these things. It's not only the good things that you're gambling on everything,
On everything.
right?
But you're
And
creating wars.
yeah, you're
You know what I
create,
mean?
but you're so
Yeah.
they're dehumanizing it, and
Right.
so people are like, oh, okay, they're not seeing it as people are dying,
Mm,
they're seeing it as, oh man, this side is winning the war now. My profits are going down. Everything
right.
becomes so, and that dehumanizes the situation as to where
Right.
you're not even concerned why the war is happening. All you're concerned about is, okay, I bet this.
Right.
And I don't like to talk about gambling so much, but you have to, because that is one of the tools they're using against everyone. and
Right.
and and they're not using it just against us, like the Christians. They're using it against everyone,
Right. Because
because
they
what
don't care. They don't see
yeah,
you as
they
Christian
don't.
and you as Muslim and
Yeah,
you as this and that. They just see you as something they can profit off because
exactly.
they've dehumanized, as you said.
Exactly. And so, like, anything that dehumanizes us or encourages confusion, and that's what algorithms do, we have to be mindful of.
Right.
Like, we have to.
Right.
And so, I'm really glad you brought that up. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
And because we're gonna need to take this stance that Jesus had, um, like into, and that's when Jesus says, "Let me abide in you, let His Spirit empower you."
Mm,
This is why, because if of my own strength, it'll be very difficult, and it's going to become increasingly difficult as they make things seem more real and seem
yeah.
like they matter more. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Sometimes they press you on issues, and now this issue has stressed you, and now so and so said this, and I'm on the other side, and there are
Yeah.
things that do not matter to your life at all.
At all. Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're sitting there with tension and a hunchback. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And you're sitting there like hurting yourself and whatnot. And you're making enemies out of people you're meant to love. You're
Yeah.
even meant to love your enemies. And so one of the things that I think is important here, is that Jesus is simply not intimidated by confrontation and conflict. He's not moved
Mm.
or motivated by unfair critique or misplaced abuse. It's impossible to force Jesus to capitulate on the truth. A lot of people are stubborn and they think they're doing this,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 But there's a big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's
mean?
a
It's like
big.
I'm not gonna change my views on the truth, and it's not the truth that Jesus is standing on here. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
something that actually doesn't matter, and you should probably exhibit love, right? So what Jesus was not being moved away from is love. It's his principles, right?
Mm.
To the point where he stood on his principles so much that when people were coming up against him to come and savagely take him, to end up, under trial and all that kind of stuff. When one of his disciples tried to stand up for him, he said, "No, I'm going to carry on my principle of
Yeah.
nonviolence. I'm going to carry on, you know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that every step of the way, no one's going to get me to act outside of my character, and my
Mm.
character is love. I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure that I'm not just telling all these people while we're all cutely on the side of a hill, hey, love your enemies, and then, you know what I mean, I'm sending out my disciples to go mob people. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because the people are used to hypocrites. The people
Yeah.
are used to people saying nice, cute stuff, but then the moment that they're crossed, they'll flip on you. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
used to that sort of flip flopping. So when we're talking about this, the principles that Jesus stood for, when he talked about compassion, when he talked about healing, when he was moved by the Holy Spirit, when he talked about following what the Holy Spirit moves you in, these sorts of things are things that he was not willing to compromise on. And
Mm.
when they tried to get him to speak on something that he did not care about, so when they tried to trap him
Mm-hmm.
with the Caesar thing, right? They're just like, hey, so when you pay your money, do you pay your money to Caesar? Do you pay your money to the church, right? He goes, Jesus is like, okay, give Caesar whatever belongs to Caesar.
Yeah.
Give God
Exactly.
what belongs to God. You know what I mean? I'm not engaging. So I'm
So
not engaging with something that is
I
outside of what I even care about. And that's what
yeah.
the stance you need to take on this social media. As Ray is talking about, social media wants you to believe this and wants you to believe that. But a lot of times, the whole conversation is outside of what you should even be, leaning into.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're thinking that, oh, this is the Christian thing to do, is to take this side. Actually, it's to not engage in any of that, because none of that actually matters
Actually
for your
matters.
mission.
And I love the tone that you took when you spoke the words of Jesus, because
Mm,
for me it took me a very long time to humanize Jesus, right? And that's because in my mind, everything that he's saying is prolific, and so I
right,
imagined everything he was saying as a command in
mm,
almost a Martin Luther King-esque voice, right?
right.
And
Give
so
unto Caesar.
yeah,
Ha!
yeah, 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 exactly.
Yeah,
Everything was a halfway sermon, right?
I
Like
have a
that's
dream. You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
mean?
Everything was a halfway sermon. But when you actually read the context and what actually happened,
Yeah,
like that's literally what he was like. He was like, it has Caesar's face on it, give it to him. like like I don't care, like why are you bothering me with this? Like what
right,
are you bothering me with this for? and
right,
and that stance is a great stance to have,
right,
because it's not relevant. And
right,
if something isn't relevant to our stance or our mission or whatever, then okay, cool. Like that's what we need to just do. Just shrug and be like, look, do whatever you want to do.
right. I'm
Like,
not
because
engaging.
it doesn't matter.
I'm not engaging, because what this does is create enemies. What this does is create dichotomy. What this does, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And my mission is to unite, not divide. So when you come to me with divisive stuff and you're
Mm,
looking for more people on your side because people think that I have more power the more people that are on my side,
yeah.
bruh, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Jesus didn't need a whole bunch of people to follow him in order to be powerful. And
Mm,
that is evident by the fact that all these people scattered the moment it was really difficult to be a
mm-hmm.
supporter of him. And guess what? He was still powerful. He still stood on business, as the kids
Exactly.
say now. Stood on business. But it's the same thing. He's in the temple, inside the temple on the Sabbath day, and they bring a man with a crippled hand into the temple to set him up. You know what I mean? Oh, Jesus, he's not going to be brazen enough to do this inside the temple, because you know what I mean? People are talking about him healing on the Sabbath. He's not going to do it in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus saw the crippled hand and made sure that everybody could see, and goes, is it better that I heal this man's hand? or that I listen to y'all. He said, extend your hand in front of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
this
yeah.
level of
And
boldness
and
is
I like
not
to
just
imagine a kiss of teeth before he says extend your
right.
hand
Because
because
he knows that this man is being used. This man
mm-hmm.
knows he's being used, but he's not gonna make it about their stuff. He's
Yeah.
not gonna engage in their stuff
Yeah.
because he has an opportunity to heal a person that actually needs healing. Imagine taking people that actually need healing and using them for your political agenda.
Mm.
That seems a lot like what they do these days, right? People that are in desperate situations,
Yeah.
people who need help, and they're using them for their political agendas. And Jesus says, I don't care about your political stances. I see someone in front of me that needs help. I have the power to help them. They have the faith to be healed. Let's get this thing done.
Yeah.
You guys can talk about the politics and stuff after. And the more that Jesus disengaged from their foolishness
Hmm.
and the polarizing chatter, the more he disengaged from that, this was the show of strength that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And anytime that it was brought in front of him, anytime that something was brought in front of him, he wasn't intimidated
Nope.
by the confrontation, by the conflict. You know what I mean? He wasn't moved. He wasn't motivated by unfair. So he, you know what I mean? Oh, people are saying this about me. People are saying that about me. Who are they?
Exactly. He didn't open a church around the corner.
He didn't, right. Right, because he's going,
Like
no, I didn't come here to fight you guys' battles.
exactly.
I came here to make sure that people who were in need got need, and to make sure that salvation is even available to your stubborn self.
Hmm.
We have Dawn who says, I imagine a kiss teeth too, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight. Because
100%. And when you start to read, and I always tell people, pick up the book of Matthew,
mm,
read through how Jesus was.
yeah.
Don't read into it. Read for what it actually says. Imagine the situation that they're giving you right there. Right?
Mm,
Because a lot of what Jesus said was very matter of fact. That's what got under a lot of the authority's skin.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't fighting them. He would just state the matter of fact. And because they couldn't rile him up,
Yeah.
they couldn't move him. Even when they were calling him a drunkard, when they were calling him demon possessed, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, and whatnot. Because he could cast out demons, he could talk to demons. So obviously he's demon possessed. He goes, okay, instead of going, I am not demon, you know what he says? He says that doesn't make sense. It was that matter of fact. That doesn't make sense. Me casting out demons if I'm on the demon side. You know what I mean? A house divided
Why would
among
I
itself
cast them out?
can't stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like literally, I'm not even gonna get riled up. I'm gonna point out how ridiculous your stance is, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm
Mm,
not gonna engage in this rage that you want me to have. And the reason that we keep repeating this, I want everyone to understand that the world is going to push more and more. When you
yep.
go to work, tomorrow's Monday. When you go to work on a Monday, there's going to be some people at work that take this stance and some people at work that take this stance. And as they're talking, they're going red in the face. You know what I mean? Talking about this side of the war, and no, you should believe that. You know what I mean? How on earth do all these governing systems that have all these parties end up being a mostly two-party system
Mm-hmm.
because they want you to take this side or that side.
Yeah.
If we all decided, okay, we're going to take the stance of whatever party, and there was so many different parties and we were all cordial to each other, that wouldn't serve their purpose.
No.
No, they want people to be against each other. They
Mm-hmm.
want people, they create this whole system to create enemies out of each other, to be divisive, and ultimately to break down the ability to love in your communities. And they get distracted by the topics that they bring up. And for
Mm,
instance, there's talking points that keep being brought up. But then there's things that they don't talk about. So
Yeah.
as we talk about things like AI, right? Oh, AI is going to take our jobs, whatever, what have you. And people are trying to plan for, okay, if it were to take my job, whatever, what have you. Do we not realize that this is actually a political issue?
Mm.
People that are
Yeah.
making policies for our communities, it's actually like if there's a threat to a mass unemployment, this is the discussion that needs to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be shifting systems to protect people's jobs, but instead they're leaving it to other people to make their own, to other sectors to make their own this and that, and instead they're talking about hot topics that have
Yeah.
somehow been hot topics for the past 200 years. You know what I mean? And it's because those are the topics that divide each other instead of focusing on creating systems to uplift the communities that they
Mm.
have sworn in to serve. We see
But
this
the
all the
core,
time.
but the core of that is a lust for power and control, right?
Yep.
Now, to bring it home,
Mm-hmm.
we have been talking about the same non salvation issues in the church for a long, long time, and trying to polarize our churches into taking this side or that side about things that have nothing to do with the salvation of the person at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we okay with doing the same thing to our churches that's being done to us through these governing bodies?
Because we've gotten comfortable with that being the way things are. And so we recreate this system. I guarantee
Mm,
people that are comfortable with it happening from above, people that are comfortable with it happening in the church, have the same thing going on in their homes. This is the type of system that people are comfortable in.
mm,
You know what I mean? I have my stance and I feel really strong about that. And I'm not gonna like or love anyone who doesn't believe my set of things. When we
yeah,
say move in integrity and stick to your truth and stick to your stance, we're not saying to hate other people who have different
exactly.
viewpoints, right? So now you've made enemies. But guess what? You don't get out of loving them. So the great thing about Jesus, right, is
Mm-hmm.
that he preempted this whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they tried it. They absolutely tried it. He says the most important things to summarize the law and the prophets is love God with your heart, your mind, your soul. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That means God, your neighbor, yourself. Love. And then someone stands up and goes, "All right, so who's my neighbor?" In other words, who can I leave out of this whole love thing, right?
And whoever
And
stood up, yeah, you're the problem.
right? They come out. They come out. They go, okay, okay. I got you. I got you. So love God. Got that. Love myself. Got that. Neighbor, this is a bit ambiguous. I need to know exactly who you're telling me to love, right? So he hits them with the Good Samaritan, and by the end of the parable of the Good Samaritan, he tells them, be the good neighbor. Jesus, are you telling me that even my enemies, yes, so he
Mm-hmm.
has to say explicitly, love your enemies. So guess what, if you are one of the people that think that it is a strong stance to hate people who believe stuff that you don't believe,
Uh-huh.
Jesus says love them too. You don't
Yep.
get out of it. None of us are exempt of the requirement to love. He loved his enemies so much he sacrificed his life for them.
Mm-hmm.
He sacrificed his life to save his enemies as well as his friends. And we know, like, there's record of his actual enemies. The people who put him on the cross going,
Look.
oh, wait, hold on. This is the Son of God. Right? Because of this act of love that he continued doing. You don't get out of it. So don't engage anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
because now you're frustrated and you're all tense and everything, and then you got to go home and love them. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, exactly.
mean? So N Samuel's here. N Samuel's here says divisive behaviors allows toxicity, avenues to grow, um, persuasive. Ooh, toxicity avenues to grow persuasive to
Persuasive.
those who are not consistent in regrounding themselves in the truth.
Yes.
Regrounding is such an interesting
Yes.
word that you said here, right? Because in what Anne just said right now is saying, hey, you're sometimes things are going to be a bit destabilizing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Divisive behaviors allows toxicity avenues to grow persuasive.
Hmm. And that is so well put
It
and
said
well
in a
said.
sermon, you
Goodness
know what I mean?
gracious.
Toxicity avenues. You know what I mean? And toxicity avenues have those potholes that we've been talking about, right? We talk
Mm-hmm.
about potholes,
Hmm.
right? So divisive behaviors make it appetizing to those who are not consistent in regrounding themselves with truth. So what I just said about Jesus not giving anybody any leeway to not love, if you don't reground yourself in that fact,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be persuaded by these avenues because of these divisive behaviors that are happening around, right?
Mm.
Reground yourself in the truth, reground yourself in the fact that, okay, I could engage in this fight, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because I have to love them.
Yeah.
So I'd rather take the stance of love from the beginning. You know what I mean? Reground yourself in the truth. The easiest way to do is to reread what Jesus said.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the disabling things are people trying to say, "Oh yeah, this is how Jesus said," and this is how Christian. It's not even Jesus said. This is how Christians are, and Christians would hate these people, and you're not Christian if you did you just speak softly and kindly to that person we're supposed to hate. That means that wait a minute, hold on, reground yourself with truth.
Mm-hmm.
Reread how Jesus behaved toward people.
What yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What was the name of the we used to have a segment when we first started.
Oh, it's good. I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
And that the segment was we looked up questionable people or
Mhm.
people who people love to hate,
Mhm.
and we found reasons to love them,
Mhm.
and
Wasn't
we
always easy.
it wasn't easy, and we didn't make it easy on ourselves.
Nope.
But when I tell you that hate and anything negative is a matter of perspective,
Mhm.
and also you do not have to agree with someone to love them.
Mhm.
And that is that is the one thing that has been lost when we because we all know that Jesus came to be the example that we are supposed to be,
Right.
right? To be the example and show us that we can walk and still and that that we can walk in the way of Jesus and it's realistic, right?
Right.
And so and one thing is he did not agree with everyone. He didn't
Mm.
walk around agreeing with everyone.
Right.
However, he walked around loving everyone.
Right.
So the reason why it's so powerful, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why it's so powerful, but one of the reasons why it's so powerful that he died on the cross is because of what Angie said. It was he died for everyone to have an opportunity
Mhm.
to go to heaven. So he died and with he died and this is this part I'm just going to say I'm imagining it, but I imagine with the thought of looking at his enemies and still thinking I want to see you home.
Right.
I love you enough to even though I disagree with you, even though you're harming me,
Yeah.
I don't and he's not accepting their harm as love. He's not delusional, but he's still saying that I love you enough
Yeah.
that I still want to see you
Right.
when we get there.
Right. You know what I mean?
Like
Oh my
I'm opening, I'm the door. I'm giving you the door,
right.
and I'm
But
giving you
but
the
it's
key
because
to
he
the
didn't see
door.
them as different. So you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and that's
He
the
didn't
thing.
see
Yeah.
them as different. Like everyone there was on the same level. So he asked for forgiveness the same way he would ask for forgiveness for anybody else. He
Yeah.
sees everybody as people who are lost and in need. He understands the
Exactly.
lack of faith that was taking place. They understand the blindness that was taking place, the power struggles that were taking place. But you know what I mean? I'm from the beginning I've been doing it for this reason. And now as I'm doing it, that hasn't changed.
Mm. Yeah.
And y'all will catch on whenever you catch on. And whoever catches on is gonna be in bliss with me, in paradise with me. You know what I mean? And I love that.
Mm.
So yeah, man, there's so much powerful things. People are here in the comments. Yeah, what Ann said, look, copy it down. Divisive behaviors allows toxicity avenues to grow persuasive to those who are not consistent
Mm.
in regrounding themselves in the truth. Reground yourself in the truth, right? Open up the life of Jesus and see the truth for yourself. And if
Yes.
you don't see yourself behaving the way that Jesus did toward people that even the religious leaders found unsavory and didn't care about, then you are not on the right side of what you consider the truth to be. We're
Hmm.
gonna read the Matthew 5 verse when we come back. I have a song called One Word by KCJ. We'll be back in a bit. You're listening to Don't Trip.
On DAB, mobile apps, and online. This is Adventist Radio London.
All right, and you need to write a book.
A few books. There's a few books in that
That's what I'm
statement.
saying. You know what I mean? I'm going,
Goodness.
it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. A lot of people who think that they're grounding themselves in truth are living very hatefully and are usually motivated by being against something.
Mm.
If you
Yeah.
find that you're most fired up when you're speaking against something,
Mm-hmm.
just take a look at how grounded you are
Yeah.
in the truth.
And the thing is, like, it is difficult nowadays because like contrarianism is profitable now.
Yeah.
It's so like you can actually go on a platform, and as long as you have something to be contrary to,
Right.
people will
You're
give you
getting
their eyes,
views.
give you
Yeah.
their views, give you the send gifts and all types of things. So there are people who are making a living off of being contrary. And but the problem is that some people are taking what they're saying as truth. That's the issue. And that's the problem I have with social media as well, because
Right.
like most things on social media that are publicized are that contrary like state, are in that contrary state where, okay,
And we
cool.
ain't talking about kids.
No, we're talking about no, we're talking
We're
about
talking about
grown
grown,
people.
broad back people
Yeah,
paying taxes for years.
yeah. And the thing is, if you agree with them, then they flip the switch because they need the chaos, they need the contrary, they need the back and forth. And so for me, it's like we need to open our eyes to the fact that there are avenues that are being open to get to us.
Right, but the thing is, this is not a new tactic. There are whole denominations that formed off of being different, right? Now, having denominations is not biblical. It is not biblically okay to be divided as a Christian family. We've done a show on it before. If you're wondering what I'm talking about and you're questioning that, it's the truth. It was never sanctioned or okay to have denominations. Denominations started essentially this same way, right? I'm gonna go with so and so because I like what they're saying. And there's whole Christian denominations that have formed off of being against something. I'm against this teaching that this group of people have. You know what I mean? And their rage has created a sector of what they consider Christianity.
Mm.
And in order to gain traction, they get louder and louder with these enemies that they're creating in this divisiveness. And then it becomes part of their bylaws. It becomes part of their doctrine that they teach and they infuse somehow with the gospel. And it
Mm.
becomes louder than the gospel. And then there's
Yeah.
writings that they have that are louder than the gospel, that are about what they're against. You know what I mean? Instead of telling you, hey, this is what we're about, this is what we're for, those denominations got quieted down and drowned out by the ones who were against something. Why? Because you
Mm.
throw in your salvation with the thing you ought to be against, and now people are both scared and angry. And now
Yeah.
you have a bigger following. So it's
Exactly.
like what the Holy Spirit is going to lead you to do is to see truth when truth is spoken,
Mm.
to not be shaken when people are coming up against you, to not be shaken when people are saying, oh, that's not Christian. Oh, but I've read it and I can actually point to the verses now because I've taken the time.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot to separating yourself from the system that starts to unite people. You start to see human beings instead of sets of beliefs.
Yeah.
Then you
Exactly.
know you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don. It is a very, very, very interesting. Like the whole denomination thing is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's deep, but it's also not that deep. Like
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
it's deep when you
Yeah.
dive into it, but then you'll realize like
It's only deep because it causes you to rethink things. It causes a recalibration. So the
yeah,
thing that happens in you is deep, but the concept,
exactly.
it's so simple.
Like we need to get back to just seeing people as people
Yeah.
and just seeing them as Jesus saw them. Everyone is someone who needs something. Everyone is
Yeah.
in need, and what are they in need of? They're in need of Jesus. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Holy, holy. Yes, yes, yes. You're listening
Mm-hmm.
to Don't Trip here on ARL with Ray and Angie here. And it's coming to the close of the show, but we are not finished yet. We have Matthew chapter 5, and the plan has given us chapter 5, verses 10 through 12. And remember, the reason that we do this format of Bible study is because you can do the same thing yourself at home. You can have one of these plans daily. You can find the same scriptures. You can use the same thing. And I love pointing out that you can also use parallel mode. So the good thing about this app, if you're using the mobile version, is that if you take off your orientation lock on your phone and you turn the phone sideways, you get an option called parallel mode, which means that you can read two different versions next to each other. If you are at Bible.com, you can do the same thing. Right next to the menu where you're choosing your version, there's a little icon that says parallel mode. When you tap it, voila, now you have a second version next to each other. So when we're here, I'm reading the Passion Translation. I'm actually going to read the Amplified version, which is what I usually parallel with.
Mm.
So you can follow along in your favorite version while having the version that we're reading open. I'm actually going to be in the Amplified version. That's Matthew chapter 5, verse 10 through 12. I like it because the amplified version sometimes it's difficult to read out loud because it has a lot of parentheses and brackets and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I love the explanations that it gives while you're reading
Yes.
scripture.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why it's one of my favorite to study with. So hopefully you found it by now. Matthew chapter 5, verse 10 and 11. And it reads, blessed, comforted by inner peace and God's love. Are those who are persecuted for doing which is morally right, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven,
Mm.
now and forever. Verse 11, blessed, morally courageous, and spiritually alive with God's with life joy in God's goodness.
Mm.
They define blessed. Huh. We're in the Beatitudes, by the way, if you haven't noticed. Are you when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil things against you because of your association with me? These are Jesus's words.
Mm.
Be glad and exceedingly joyful, for your reward in heaven is great, absolutely inexhaustible. Hmm. For in the same way, they persecuted the prophets who were before you.
Mm.
So when it says Jesus is saying to be happy about it, be glad and exceedingly joyful, for your reward in heaven is absolutely inexhaustible. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. And Jesus is included in that. So he's saying, yo, there is going to be people that call you out your name
Yep.
the same way they called Jesus out his name. There's gonna be people that because what you're saying sounds different than the thing that they've been saying, um, they're gonna say that, oh, what you're saying is not truth. What you're saying, you're a liar, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. But your blessing comes from standing through that,
Mm.
standing with Jesus through that, because you know that what you're experiencing is the same thing that Jesus experienced, but was able to stand.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't able to stand out of stubbornness. He was able to stand out of the Holy Spirit convincing him of the truth, right? He
Mm.
was convinced, absolutely thoroughly convinced, to the point where he was able to do things that people were not able to naturally do because he knew the power of the Holy Spirit. And he says, you have that too. Blessed are those
Mm.
who move
Yeah.
this way and aren't swayed by other people hating them or other people thinking ill things about them. What you thinking, Ray?
I'm look. I'm thinking that this is that it kind of just cements exactly what we were talking about.
Mm,
And what we were talking about in the break as well. Like people like it, in some ways it's a warning
mm, mm.
people will talk false, speak evil about you and talk falsely in your name and try to persecute you, not only persecute you physically but verbally with insults. And
Mm-hmm.
it says it here in the verse, like it insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil things against you
Yep.
because of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we always have hope, and we're not delusional.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We're not delusional. We know things are gonna be rocky. We know things, but we always have hope because the kingdom is ours. And that's the whole thing. Like that is literally everything in a nutshell that we've been talking about. And yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say about it because
Yeah.
it feels like it's just a good end to everything that we've been saying in the past hour.
Absolutely. And remember, these are the Beatitudes. If you want to know what Jesus taught, literally go to Matthew 5, 6, and 7. The Sermon on the Mount sums up Jesus's message.
Yeah.
And Samuel Harris says, she gives clapping hands. She said, had to remove myself from ritual slash behaviors and just read scripture. Read with an open mind. Be willing to scrap everything you thought you knew and have God install the truth in you.
Mm,
Dawn says human beings instead of sets of beliefs. On point. She's
yep.
screenshotting the whole chat. If you want to know what the chat is, go to this. I'm reading this from YouTube. Um, Go to our Adventist Radio London YouTube, and you get to see like the live stream is going to be recorded, so you can watch it again, and you can also read the chat that's been said during that time. Well, y'all, we have come to the end of a great show. This was a great return. I would apologize for being
Mm,
for being away before, but life happens. Um, and so here we are. I love this plan. I love the dialogue that it opens up, and I really am excited. And I thank those who have joined our conversation today on our
Yes. Oh,
chat,
yes.
because this is one thing that we love. And we say it all the time. We absolutely love when you join the conversation. And there's nothing, not a better feeling than knowing that we're conversing with other people. This feels like community, and
Mm,
creating this community is great. So that's one of the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for God bringing me through this week. The past probably month, there's just been a lot of like health challenges, and I know Ray's had his health challenge as well. Um, over the past few weeks and whatnot. So keep us
mm.
in your prayers. Keep our backs in your prayers. What is it with
Yeah, yeah,
backs?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I
I don't
mean?
know. I don't
Maybe
know what it
maybe
is.
it's because we've gone a long time without that vitamin D. It might we might need to re up on the vitamin D. You know what I mean?
Very true, actually.
Yeah, it might be just a result of long time. So what I'm
So
asking
if you see
for.
me tanning,
Right. But if you want to send me a plane ticket to somewhere that has the sun, I will accept that. Just putting it out there for those of
yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean,
Just,
like,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Anyway, just putting it out there. But yeah, man, I'm grateful for this message. I'm grateful for those who join the conversation. I'm grateful for the community that we have. What you grateful for, Ray?
As always, I'm grateful for my kids. They're in the other room. I'm grateful for like I'm really great. The whole show has been great today.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that we got the interaction that we did on the live. But I'm really grateful as well that we are able to have these discussions and you know talk back and forth with and have that discord because that it's needed.
Mm.
And the message of I don't have to agree with you to love you needs to be shouted, especially in 2026. like that's what I'm grateful for, man. Like it's been great, honestly.
Absolutely. And we got same time, same place going on next week.
Hmm.
I also wanted to shout out. What was it that I wanted to shout out? I wanted to shout out Dawn for something. Dawn, I'm shouting you out and I can't remember what for. But I wanted to shout you out. Oh yeah, for checking up on us, man. You know what I mean?
Mm,
There's some people who, they're regulars here on the show. And so sometimes if there's a time where the show is stalling or something like that, they go, okay. And it's just seeing that presenters are human beings checking in and saying, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? We miss
yeah,
you and things like that can be something that really raises and lifts our spirit as well. So
yeah.
I wanted to shout out Dawn for that. But
And
yes,
and
yeah,
also, if I can just quickly,
mm,
if you don't know where to go this Saturday, Wilson SDA is having a ADRA relief concert.
oh,
And there will be speakers, there'll be acts. There's Aaron John, Ruth White, Bianca Gillen. A bunch of different things are happening. We're gonna bring the spirit, and I promised them that I would shout it out.
at
And
Wilson.
no, at Wilson, and everybody knows that when we do concerts,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
we do concerts.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this Saturday, please, come on down. Live in London, it says.
What time?
Um, it just says Saturday, so come from Sabbath school.
Come 9:30 in the
From
morning.
9:30 in the morning.
9:20. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Wilson, Wilson throws down when it comes to music, when it comes to things like that. And it's
Yes.
for an excellent cause. So yeah, I love that. Well, same time, same place next week. This has been Don't Trip.
Don't do it.
The mobile apps and online. This is Adventist Radio London.
Yes, Don. Family is family.
Yeah, man, absolutely. All right, it has
Hello
been
and welcome
a
to Ladies
great
Lounge here on
show.
Adventist Radio
Hey,
London.
ladies'
I'm
lounge.
your
Look at
host,
that.
Oh, let's go.
We're
Okay.
happy to
Yes.
be here today
All
with
right,
you.
man. It's
If
been
you're
real. See you guys
just a
next week. I'm
reminder,
gonna stop the
Ladies
stream
Lounge
now.
runs on a